Alex's Garden Log 2023. I'm gonna go through this video following the growth of my plants in order as best as I can remember it. First up, we're gonna look at the sweet bell peppers grown from seed. These were taken out of just a regular bell pepper from the grocery store. Not even like put into the soil at all, just kind of thrown on it, a little bit of water, and they started sprouting, so I decided to transplant them into a proper pot with a grow light. This pot and grow light were actually just leftovers from an attempt at growing a mango tree from seed inside, but even the room temperature of my house is way too cold for a mango seed to properly germinate and start growing. So I just used the leftovers for the bell peppers here. Next, we've got some snow peas and tomatoes started growing here. Added another grow light to the indoor setup at this point. These are all pretty well crowded, but at this point I didn't really know too much what I was doing, so I just kind of threw all the different seeds into pots here and just let them grow. This next picture is just a little bit further along in the growth. The peppers are really getting pretty crowded in here. I've added cages to these now. I've also started 2 additional types of hot peppers this time in the 2 side pots you can kind of see there, but they never make it too far. Once they get planted in the ground outside, the bunnies just ate them to nothing. It's also no longer the snow peas in one of the back pots. I've just split the tomatoes, picked out all the good ones that had some good growth, and split them into 2 pots so they're not too crowded anymore. It's now decently into the spring, still a little cool at night though, so the snow peas have been moved outside, still in their pot, but outside, just on the deck here, and they've started producing already, super early in the spring here. It was only like late April or something, and they started making peas. Here we add a new plant. I get a few different types of lettuce that I started growing. I chose to get these specifically to grow them all the way until they produce more seeds, just to see what would happen, because I thought it would be kind of cool if I just grew a bunch of lettuce seeds. Towards the end, the actual lettuce leafy part pretty much just died off. I don't know if that's supposed to happen or not, but they still had the shoots come up and start producing a bunch of seeds, so I was happy with it. Now we're in the current time of the garden and all of the different plants. Here we have one of the peppers, because they were a little bit overcrowded before. Once I put them in the ground, I ended up taking one of the bell peppers out and just putting him on his own. The rest of them are still pretty crowded up in the middle here, but they're producing, they're growing, they're doing alright, so I just left them as is. Pretty tight root system around the bottom here, but it doesn't seem to be affecting them too much. Still got some decent peppers coming off of this one. Originally, when these peppers were inside, they would still produce the flowers, but the flowers would just die off after a little bit because there was nothing to pollinate them inside my house, obviously. Next plant up in the garden here are the tomatoes, which I don't have any photos for quite a while, so they're pretty huge now. They just kind of overflow out of the cages and grow everywhere, kind of all over the bottom here, just kind of vine around. But they are producing some pretty decent sized tomatoes in here. There's a big one at the back, just kind of chilling. I'm not sure how long it takes for the tomatoes to go from green to red once they've reached like a decent size. This one is still a little bit small from fully ripe size probably, because they're like big beefsteak ones. So we'll keep waiting and see what happens. There's an even bigger one on the other tomato in the corner there, but he's still just been green for a bit. The tomato here is kind of the same deal, just overgrowing the cage, vining around a bit. There's a couple more actual plants here. I think the other one is 3 plants in the cage. This one's about 6. But pretty much the same stuff. Same kind of growth on the tomatoes. Just a few more, because there's some more plants. Everything is still coming in pretty nicely on this one as well, though. No serious issues with the tomato plant. Final plant that's made it out here in the outdoor garden and not got consumed by bunnies or something like that is my blueberry bush. This one did have some issues with some animal. I don't know if it was the bunnies still, but something was nabbing the blueberries off, so I've got him caged up pretty good. This one was not grown from seed. This one I got as a shrub and transplanted here. But he's doing alright. He's got some good growth coming on him. That's the super bright green spot. This one is a low bush blueberry, because I live in Canada, so I got the low bush just so it handles the winters pretty well compared to other types of blueberry bushes. The new growth here even has like way brighter leaves compared to the ones coming from the old branches. And that pretty much sums it up for my first year of gardening. Pretty much everything I've tried, everything that's worked, everything that hasn't. It's just about loosely covers everything anyways. Didn't get too many pictures or footage aside from stuff at the end, towards the end of the year I got more, but early on I didn't have too much saved. So yeah, that's about it for my 2023 garden log.